Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? It's Clayton, and it's July 3rd, and I think it's time for another garden update. Everything is looking crazy. Look how densely planted this looks now. And back here, I did a little bit of stacking with some milk crates, so make a little bit more space. But let's get started up here on the patio. So let's see. Here are some of the Hawaiian chilies that I've got. They're slowly recovering from the transplant. A bunch of extra stuff. Here are the Chie eggplants. Oh my gosh, look at that! Already got an eggplant on. Actually, we can see that. That's awesome. So very quick producing the Chie eggplant is tons of flowers. Well, if you consider 3 flowers for an eggplant, tons of flowers. I'm excited. The Badajan sesame eggplant got some flowers on it, and the Waimanalo eggplant, it was just producing now. Let's see. Oh, my physalis is starting to flower. And which one is this? This is the Ayachucho Cape Gooseberry. Wading into the forest here. I've got 3 tomatoes. This is the Millefleur tomato, and look how many flowers that is right there. We are gonna have plenty of little tomatoes, and then see if I can find them down here. Check that out. Let's see, right there. Oh wow, a bunch down here. And those are, this is the Puerto Cortez and the Siberian. The Siberian are the larger ones, and the Puerto Cortez are a little bit smaller. That is awesome. Can't believe how fast these guys are growing. And then the Queen of Malinalco Tomatillo. The lanterns aren't full yet, but just look at how gigantic this is. This must be at least 4 foot tall. I am blown away, and it's blown away. It's growing in a pot. Like, you would have thought that this height would have come from something in the ground. The potatoes, obviously doing really good. I topped off some of them with a little extra soil so I can get more production. And then I've posted about this before. Look at these petunias. They're just taking over. And what the main cropping here is actually the tree physalis, so I'm hoping that that'll get a little bit taller, but it's pretty much bushed up. You know, it's from here all the way over there. If it doesn't get any taller, you know, that's okay, but check this out. Check out those hairs on that stem. That will keep away a lot of pests, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Ooh, well, yeah, we'll check up on the aquaponics and the stuff planted on the side before we get into the raised bed. So, more potatoes. I've actually planted a couple of corn in with the potato just to see how they do. And then some corn that were originally by themselves, and then I planted in some cowpeas. I threw in some corn seed, or some carrot seed, and those just came up, and then some volunteer ground cherries. So I figured, hey, let's see what everybody does together. This is like a red mustard. They've been going to seed for a long time. I'm gonna have to cut those and dry them just like I did with my turnip seeds today. The tatsoi is growing in. Some of them are choosing to flower. Cilantro's going to flower. Some kales and cabbages, lettuce. It's a speckled romaine. I don't remember what name. And then again, some Mizuna. Same thing as last time, just a little bit bigger. Wow, where to start with this bed? How about with that massive kohlrabi? So we've been getting some rain, and check this out. Look at how gigantic that is. That's like the size of a softball. And it can get bigger, but I may be picking this very soon just to make some more space, because you can see, you know, these leaves are, you know, shading out a lot of stuff. I've got a pepper right here. This is the ají caballero pepper. Some, again, volunteer ground cherries everywhere. The yard long beans, and then my bitter melons. And there's another bitter melon on this side. They're making their way up. The Hawaiian sugar potted peas are doing way better than the Glenorchy snow peas, the yellow potted peas from Glenorchy. I think that's just because these peas were bred to deal with Hawaiian heat. So they're still putting out some flowers. It's slowed down definitely, but they're constantly putting out flowers still. So I'm harvesting and keeping an eye on flowers, because I do want to save seeds, so I don't want to pick the last of the last. But I've already let the Glenorchy yellow potted peas, I stopped picking them. I'm letting them go to seed. So the Mountain Sweet yellow watermelons, they're still really small. I'm hoping that they'll pick up. My Tommy apple melons that I had over here, they didn't make it. They got shaded out by this buckwheat. Got some peppers. Ancient Sweet Red. It's a similar. I think it's a bell pepper. Yeah. And then the Belize Sweet Habanero is. They're still relatively short, which is again why I want to get rid of a lot of my kohlrabi, because they're actually shading out some of the peppers. Yeah, let's go back and pick it out. So I'm really excited for, I'm excited for everything, like, I'm not gonna lie, but the corn is already done. Well, some of it's already done. The tassels are getting old. Some of it is making new tassel. I think a lot of these are going to have 2 ears per plant, which is exciting. With how small of a space this is and how much rain we've been getting, I'm a little worried on how good of pollination they've gotten. Some of the ears feel half full, some of them feel completely full, so I think there's still some hope. The buckwheat, this is a pink buckwheat, is starting to shade out some of the peppers. This is the golden finger pepper. I've got another one over here. The Paprika Feherosen is right here. And it's hard to see everything, just because how much foliage there is. The Zipster Turkenspitz pepper right here. I'm hoping that they all start growing up out of the shade of this. I'm just trying to let these go to seed so I can harvest and then cut them back. We'll see if I might thin out a couple. There's some volunteer squash in here. I mean, there's volunteer squash everywhere. I mean, right here, like, they're going crazy. And I think as long as everything's living and nothing's like dying from being shaded out, I'm pretty cool with that. Ooh, check this out. The loofah gourds are making their way up the trellis. They just started, and the second one over there is almost there. And then the Malabar spinach is making its way too. So I'm I'm hoping we get all the way up this trellis. That would be insane. Some extra peas, and yeah, just waiting on some of these pole beans and the cowpeas to make their way up that trellis. The grapes are looking darn good. I'm excited for some juices, some jams. Just eating them straight. They've got seed in them, but they taste so good, it's worth it. The prairie turnips are staying relatively small this year. They're a biennial, so that's fine. Everything on this side is meant for seed, so I've been harvesting some of the stems just to make some room and then drying them separately. So we got carrots, we got turnips, we got radishes. Yeah, and it's drawing in tons and tons of pollinators, so it's a win-win. And I'm eating some of the seed pods of the radishes. Really good. And we've pickled some. I put some in like pasta salads and stuff like that, and it's working out well. We just harvested, or well, we thinned out the beets, so we got some young beets, and then we thinned them out to give them some more space to get bigger. Some of the carrots are just bolting. I don't know why, but they are. Extra large leaves on this eggplant here. Starting a flower. That's good. Oh yeah. So the potatoes are just getting massive. So I've had to move out a couple of the pots into the lawn to give them some sun. And I want you to check this out. I am excited about this. I'm 6'7". This is taller than I am. This is a turnip that has gone to flower. It's just so cool. And it's bringing in tons of pollinators. It's just this giant homing beacon for all these like insects, these little bees, little pollinators. I've got a good population of native bees out here, so that's exciting. The understory of the corn is Swiss chard, and then extra weeds that are just popping up. But the corn is looking good. It's I'm definitely surpassing the knee-high by 4th of July rule. It's more like at least waist high. So pretty happy about that. Some varieties are going to tassel already because I have shorter varieties that produce much quicker. And then some of my amaranth is finally coming up, so I'm hoping that they will speed up a little bit and try to surpass the corn. I hope that they at least, produce seed. More of the wonderful Swiss chard. Gonna be making some tacos with the Swiss chard in a stir fry. Yeah, these are the Glenorchy yellow potted snow peas, and like I said, letting them swell up, make seed. I'm really excited to save these because, I've traveled halfway across the world to get those seeds. I mean, not to get those seeds, I got them halfway across the world. So there's no way I'm going back just for the seeds. I mean, I would, but it's expensive. So it's just like keeping a little bit of that memory like constantly with me. I think that's awesome. The cabbages are starting to make their little heads. With how densely everything is planted, I am not expecting a big cabbage, but I planted something like 30 cabbages here, so I'll make up for it with sheer number. So we'll still have some sauerkraut that we can make, and maybe some kimchi too. That'd be awesome. So this looks a little tall, doesn't it? This is the My Esmerado. Check out how thick around that is. Like, it's massive right now, and it does not feel like flimsy. So they are growing insanely fast, and hopefully, oh gosh. I forgot the name of this guy. Achocha. Yeah, this is the Achocha vine that I transplanted in before. It's already reaching the top of the trellis, so I'm waiting for it to just like blow up going both ways. And hopefully grab onto these corn and help trellis them up. Oh, let's go this way. Oop. Yeah, as I said, more corn. And then some random turnips that are doing their thing, flowering up in the middle of the corn. And corn tasseling, looking good. The cannas haven't really grown too much. They've gotten a little new growth on them, which is good, but they're not getting super tall yet. But I got plenty of time. I'm loving these two amaranth here. They're getting a good amount of sun, and they're getting tall. And all of my volunteer squash, I think those are the butterbush squash, and then here are the Tahitian butternut squashes, the gigantic ones. There's 2 plants here, and they just started putting vines out like, I don't know, maybe a week ago. So that's going to be a huge puzzle for me to figure out where to put the vines as they move. Again, more corn. Some amaranth in the middle of the corn. And volunteer tomatoes. Volunteer peas? What? No. No, that's not a pea. That's a turnip. What am I doing? Volunteer squash, and then purposely planted squash. No. I'm going crazy. Yeah, those are the purposely planted, I think those are melons. No. Oh my gosh. I gotta keep it all together, man. So I planted the Sama watermelon first. It did not come up, so I planted some other squash. And then the watermelon came up like 2 weeks later. So we're having a party. Some of the purple amaranth again, a extra pepper, and then again more squash. I'm gonna have hopefully a lot of squash. And then our sunflower is looking really good. And I just watched a video about how you should prune some of the little sprouts on the sunflower to encourage the plant to make a massive sunflower head at the top. I'm not focusing anything specific on fertilizing these guys. I hear that they really like to grow slow in compost, and if you give them too much nitrogen, they just make leaves and not very big flowers. And if you give them too much phosphorus, they make small flowers, and which is weird. But yeah, so hopefully we get one big sunflower out here. I threw down a lot of seed. I didn't see anything else come up, so this is the one trooper that came out of that seed from 2004. Ooh, I guess we had some cucumbers that were volunteer. I don't remember ever having thrown down. I mean, I didn't plant any cucumbers, but we got some volunteers, so it'll be interesting to see what those taste like, if they were hybrids from the store or what they were. Here is another achocha. This one's a little bit slower growing because it doesn't get as much sun, and it's obviously got some competition, but I'm just letting it do its thing. This is more of the, actually no, this is the, this just came up on its own, I believe. This is just volunteer. But check that baby out. That's the gold amaranth, or the orange flowered amaranth. Soybeans. This is a special variety from John Shirk. This edamame is intended for, like, you steam it and then you eat it as a bar snack in Japan. So I'm excited to have, I have only a couple of plants, but I'm excited to have some edamame that I can have with some nice beer. The carrots, doing their thing, not getting super big. Some of them are, again, choosing to, or at least start to go to flower. At least one or two of them are. They definitely need more time, and I mean, this is all an experiment with the carrots and the beets, just throwing the seeds down. More cucumbers, amaranth, and cannas. I threw down lots and lots of cowpeas and other beans in here just to fill in some area, and then of course just volunteer tomatoes. Yeah, over here the cabbages are my favorite. I guess they just love these conditions, plus there's less competition here. Here's a cool thing. My leaf amaranth from last year just decided to be a volunteer, despite the fact that I covered this whole area with like a couple inches deep of new soil. Pretty cool. And ooh, yeah, my other achocha. That's my third and final achocha. And more squash. This is a Moschiata squash mix, like a composite. And if it crosses with the butterbush or with the Tahitian, that's going to be just another crazy experiment. So, yeah. I've got some borage flowers coming in to attract some bumblebees and other pollinators. And the sunchokes are looking better. The lower leaves looked like a problem on the red rovers, but it looks way, way better already. And I transplanted out another fig. I got some sweetgrass from Richter's catalog. This is an American plum that, again, I'm hoping to graft. We'll see if it's got enough growth. I'm a little skeptical on that. And then some Silver King wormwood, because I think it's cool. My experiment back here with the tomatoes seems to be doing pretty good. This is another Siberian. They're producing relatively well, and this is like more than half shade. And I'm not really pruning these ones as much, so this one's like got 3 main stems. The purple Russians just don't seem to be doing good for me at all. They're just a little weak looking. Millefleurs, again, flowering. Not as much flower, but still a good amount. So that may be because of less light compared to everybody else. But they're putting on a lot of... Okay, so I gotta show you guys. These are my pawpaws. And yeah, I planted about 50 seed out, and they're just now coming up, which is super exciting. It's July, so that's typically when you start seeing pawpaws emerging, late June, mid-June sometimes. Again, I'm in zone 5, but yeah, check that out. I'm so excited to be able to share some pawpaws, get them out. And then persimmons. These are some extra pawpaws that were just dug up and as an experiment to see who is hardy for digging up. And they're actually coming back, some of them. And then some more persimmons that came from seed. Those have to be given their own container at least. Yeah, let's check out the side and the front of the house really quick. There's the grapes again. My Siberian pea shrub that I planted in place of our burning bush. My neighbor's cucumbers. Yeah, check this out. My nasturtiums are really kicking in the growth. They're not big enough to trail down yet, but man, the leaves are delicious, real spicy, peppery. It's awesome. Hops vine, not growing as much, but again, we'll see. The beans are flowering already in front of the tomatoes. Ooh, what variety do we have here? Puerto Cortez has its tomatoes on. Siberian has its tomatoes on. Helene starting to flower. Beans. Another Puerto Cortez with tomatoes. The purple Russian, the tomatoes have been pollinated and it's just starting to put on some of the tomatoes. So that's good. This purple Russian seems to be trying to outgrow some of that wilt. This is the German pink. It is, I mean, all of my tomatoes are massive this year. We're just having a really, really good year for tomatoes, as I'm sure a lot of you know. Oh, who do we have here? Another Siberian with their starting to fruit. I don't even have to look at the tag. I know that's millefleur. That's just insane amounts of flowers. Ooh, that's what I like to see. That's the Helene. So this one's been getting about 3 or 4 more hours of sunlight compared to the one that's down there. These last 3 tomatoes get a lot more sunlight because they're not blocked by the building. That's, wow. Another millefleur. Insane amounts of flower. I am blown away by that. I'm hoping that the tomatoes aren't like super tiny. I hope they're like regular cherry tomatoes. But we'll see, you know. And this is German pink. Larger flowers than some of the others. Pretty cool. So in this front, this kind of like a just side garden, I put in some hyssop, some cannas, and a couple of varieties of milkweed and some yarrow. And then these milkweeds, I don't know if they came in wild or not. And then this plant, I don't know what it is, it just kind of came on its own, but it's got a purple flower. So we're waiting to take some pictures of it when it's getting flower. My smaller of the hardy citrus is not growing super fast. Again, this is an area that we don't water. Don't water too much. And the other hardy citrus is currently being dominated by the flowering parsley, but it's there. And then, yay! The maypops are starting to make their vine. And then my little pots of basil and marigolds. And I mean, you can tell it hasn't rained in a little bit when everything starts drooping. My tamarind. No, gotta put that in. Beautiful. This is like my pride and joy for eggplants. Which one? This is the Badajan sesame eggplant. And I've done a little bit of trimming on this one, and look at the masses of flowers that are just starting to come out of here. So very, very promising. I'm excited. And then of course the ground cover of Japanese sweet potato. So I am super excited to see if growing these two together benefits, like if I'm able to get 2 crops out of this. And you can see the sweet potato's gonna start taking over our bush, so I might have to do something about that. But it's bringing in plenty of light and energy. I just gotta make sure it stays watered. And I mean, they've all gotten plenty of fertilizer. Some extra, some extra peppers in all of the sweet potato mess. These guys are getting a lot more sun, but you can already tell that, you know, this is just a bush type pepper. Yeah, peppers are already on, really young, not pickable yet, but already there. Flowers on this one, and these are all the yellow ones. So there's the Aji Caballero, which I think might be that one. The Ojo de Pixie. I might switch them up, but one of these two is Ojo de Pixie. And I can't quite remember. Oh, Goldfinger is one of these as well. And then, I mean, I can't say enough about these petunias. They are just, I mean, they grow like weeds, but they're beautiful. Like, not that weeds are not beautiful. I think that weeds are beautiful as well. Yeah, I got this one pepper, this bell pepper, in the middle of everything, and it's just amazing. I love seeing those flowers. And then the peach tree. Still had a couple of problems with some peaches falling off. I've got some holes, unfortunately, but I've still got a decent amount of peaches on here. So I'm hoping that I picked off enough. I mean, I probably picked off half of them. But they're still pretty small, so they've got some time to grow still. I think at least half a month, maybe a full month before they're ready. Been giving the tree water when it hasn't rained in a few days, just to keep the leaves from dropping, because it will drop some leaves. Leaves will turn yellow if it's too stressed out from lack of water. I have been having problems with some branches starting to bend and break, and I'm a little concerned about that. I know I have to come in and do some trimming after the fruit are done. I don't know if it's just like they got watered too much during the spring and they grew weird. But some of these, I mean, this hanging branch, I'm worried about that. I might have to tie it up so it doesn't break when the fruit are big enough. Yeah, and I'm excited about these yarrow. These yellow yarrow are pretty new. I planted these out from seed last year, and our Chicago Hardy figs are coming back bigger than ever. I'm hoping to get at least 4 foot tall. That would be amazing. And then if the season stays long enough, I'm hoping to get some figs. If I get more than 2 figs, it'll be better than last year, because I only got like a fig and a half, because the second one was not ripe. Well, I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.